What's up, everyone? And I want to talk about the crypto scam out there, and why I think almost all the projects are scams except something like Bitcoin. Now, there could be projects, that are not scams, that are legit. And when I say scam, I'm including like projects that are legit scams, projects that are started with good intentions but turn out to be poor design, not functional, not long term, and then they're continued. And then just projects that will just never have a chance, right? And maybe they're marketed or hyped or are seen as something more than what they actually are. And so I think that is the majority of projects out there except Bitcoin. And one reason that I have this conclusion, right, is just all the research I've done, things I've seen, all these crypto casinos blowing up, all these centralized platforms that have, touted crypto as the future, but meanwhile they're all just imploding. And these are like smart people with with all the resources in the world, and they are just dropping like flies all over the place. And they all could just be maybe complicit in some big grand conspiracy, or maybe they just thought that crypto wasn't a scam, that they were building on something, that they were building on granite, but it turns out they're building on quicksand. I think it's probably more likely that the majority of these people thought they were building on something that had a lot, or thought or were convinced that they were building on something that had a more solid foundation than it actually did. And when that foundation got shook, right, we're seeing them collapse. And so I think that's what's going on with a lot of these projects. But the big reason that I think there's a huge scam there is I think most of these people that have created these other projects are not motivated by the moral authority that they claim that they're motivated by. So a lot of these people in the crypto space are like, Wagami, we're all in this together. We're trying to build a decentralized world, so you have ownership rights and property and all this kind of stuff where your money isn't exploited and manipulated. Meanwhile, most of their projects are exploiting and manipulating you and exploiting and manipulating the money. But if that truly was their case, if they truly want that outcome, what I think you'd see is a recognition of the project or projects that actually have accomplished that or will accomplish that or most likely to accomplish that. And instead of trying to create your own project, they would just build on top of the other project. Because when they create their own project, the big problem is they create their own token, and that token gives them control and power and wealth should their project succeed. And their project is now simultaneously competing with the other projects out there, legit projects, for resources, time, market share, everything. And that person, if they are smart and competent, they're now out there advocating and marketing a project that could be just inferior to something that would accomplish that moral goal. So it's not about achieving this like moral solution, even though they claim to be. If it was, they would I believe they would renounce their own projects and just focus on one, right? And I believe that should be Bitcoin and is Bitcoin. And the reason why is, let's just say that Bitcoin isn't it. Let's say Bitcoin isn't it. And it's some layer one smart contract platform like Ethereum. And I don't think Ethereum's it. And the reason why, right? Ethereum has some flaws. We're going to talk about this in this video. But look at all the competitors to Ethereum. Look at all the layer one smart contract platforms that are competing against Ethereum. So there's a lot of smart people who have looked at Ethereum and said, it's not going to do it. It's not capable. So if these people are like, Ethereum's not capable, I'm going to design one that's capable. And the next person comes along and is like, well, Ethereum's not capable, but this other one isn't capable. Cardano's not capable, so I'm going to design my own, right? You keep having that situation occur. So are these people just incompetent? Right? Like what makes the next person think they're going to solve the problem that the previous 10 or 100 people haven't been able to solve, according to them? What makes them think they're special? Chances are they're not special. On top of that, it's like, Now you have to convince the world that your platform is better. And conveniently, you have a token that if your project does win or does do better, you now have, hundreds of millions to billions of dollars at your disposal, right? That is a conflict of interest. So I think the majority of the other projects aren't meant to compete for this moral goal that they say they are. They're meant to compete for power and control and money, and which is fine if that's what you're competing is. It's just they're masking it as something else. And I really think if like a legit contender to something like Bitcoin came into play, you'd see a recognition if people's real goal was this outcome where we separate money from state and it's censorship resistant and we don't have to deal with central bankers corrupting the monetary supply. I believe like if one of the layer one platforms achieved or was most likely to achieve that outcome beyond Bitcoin, all the other ones would be like, yeah, you know what? These guys did it over there. I'm going to stop competing in this marketplace because one, it'd be unethical knowing that there's a better product out there that achieves the ends much better. And two, we're just going to lose over the long term. So might as well get out, take the resources, take the time, and just build on top of the platform that's going to win. But you don't see that with any of the altcoins. But where you do see that, right, you do see all that happening on Bitcoin. Bitcoin is so anti-create your own token. And the whole ethos of it is buy it and never sell it. It is the real estate, the foundation that everything else can be built on. And so if you're going to work on something, rather than try to print a bunch of money, right, and try to get rich quick overnight, actually build something of value that supports the Bitcoin network, that improves upon the Bitcoin network, that brings more people in. And you won't get more value by printing up some random token that you create out of thin air. The value you'll get will be in two forms, two main ways. One, you'll increase the value of the base layer of Bitcoin. And two, you'll likely be able to attract more Bitcoin to yourself because people will pay you their Bitcoin because of the value that you provide them. And in those two ways, you're not only enhancing the network, but you're also like contributing to society and you're getting paid for it, which is how things should work, right? You create value, you get paid for it. You know, someone else values what you do, they pay you to do the thing. Hey, that is how things should work. And that is how things should work in a functional economy and a functional society, not you get paid because you misrepresent what something is and you cross-collateralize it and you pump up the price and you just so happen to have a million free tokens that you printed up out of nowhere that you slowly dump onto the market, basically just extracting value. So anyways, I need to end this rant. I gotta get going. But let me know what you think about this in the comments below and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.